You see, if we're being true, if the mind is being true to all other minds, it will admit to itself. It's not admit. It will reveal itself as this inconsistent, you know, inconsistent promoting. This talk is truly inconsistent with truth, with reality. You see, the mind, it fluctuates from an ego human creation made out of thoughts and ideas and concepts into building a world of either consistent or inconsistent. See? But we cannot maintain, this mind cannot maintain consistency throughout its life. And it cannot maintain inconsistency throughout its life, throughout its human body life. So it has to just plod along, 1 minute I'm right, next minute I'm wrong, 1 minute I'm good, next minute I'm bad. And something hierarchical says, no, we want you to be consistent all of your life. This is what the U.G. Krishnamurti called was the system, you see. We want you to err for the side of being right, being good, being, one-sided. And if you're inconsistent to this, there will be some kind of punishment, It won't be a harsh punishment, but it'll depend on the inconsistency, it'll depend on the behavior, So our expectations for ourselves are to say, well, I always have to remain vigilant to my mind. Now this is working for the system, but not the system that is an operation from an external source. This is your own system. The great Osho, after enlightenment, after awakening, once all of this had set in, you're not going to be walking around, everyone bowing and worshipping and looking at the aura that is proceeding, boundlessly from your body. You're not going to be the king, the special one, the saint. Because even before awakening and after awakening, we have to observe the mind. Something has to observe the mind to make sure, not that it's consistent nor inconsistent, just to make sure that the observing is taking place. The evaluation, the judgment, the analysis, the measurement of what the context of the mind is not relevant. It's the observing. But when your mind falls and hypnotizes the observer to say, yeah, but do you know what I'm saying? I've been really bad today. Aren't you going to judge me and value and analyze me? Aren't you going to punish me? And then it tricks in a matter of seconds. Remember that thing you did last week? It was so good, How good were you? How wonderful were you? So there appears to be in our human way a connection between the judging and the analysis and the measurement and the valuation of what the mind says we're doing. The body is not part of this. The body is just doing stuff. It's deep sleep, the body turns over. The mind's not there to say, oh, you turned over 15 times to the left. That's a bit unbalanced, only once to the right. This is the example of the separation between the mind, the ego mind, and the body. The pure mind is turning the body. The pure mind is not valuing, not judging, not analyzing, not measuring. It's just turning the body. It's doing the body a favor. It's leaving it alone. Or it's helping or assisting in its movement. The ego mind wants to say, no. We have to be more balanced. You see? Body's already balanced. Pure mind already balanced. So the observing is not the observing from the mind, because the mind can observe itself. In fact, that's all, most people live in this world today. They go through the whole life of the mind observing the mind. I am observing my mind. Who is I am? Me, the body. No, the mind is observing the mind. The pure mind is observing the body. The body is not observing. The body is just a vessel. The body has portals to see, to breathe, to hear, to taste, to talk, to urinate, to defecate. You see? The body doesn't need guidance, a system, a rules and a regulation to say this is when you have to do this. Although sometimes in our world you think, at school when the children has to pee his pants because the teacher's so engrossed with the mind. You see, we cannot maintain. You see, time. What consistency is inconsistent. And what inconsistency is consistent. We can see them both as one thing on either side. But the mind cannot see them both simultaneously at the same point, because it has to make a judgment, an analysis, a measurement, which one is which. You see, this is the creation of ego. We create a thing. Yeah. So consciousness is no opposing state. So we feel comfortable when the word consciousness comes, because our mind doesn't say, well, what is it? Is it male? Is it female? Is it dark? Is it light? Is it high? Or is it low? It's just consciousness. But when we say the word like God, oh yeah, God. Is it Hindu? Is it Muslim? Is it man? Is it light? Is it dark? We've got so many options to analyze, measure, and examine this God, this word. It's a word. We're examining words every day. So, no speaker in its genuine state can be consistently, because that's not the point, you see. The point is we choose to come here, or we're forced because of some bad doings, or we could be possibly help others to transcend this planet, this universe. But we come here knowing that it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Therefore, that's why all these wonderful past saints and witches and wizards and theorists and philosophers built this system of guidance. We can replicate the I, the true I, and we can create a subsequent I to help them using communication skills, verbal, perception, sound, to understand the system. And then when they understand the system, they will find that their own system is exactly the same. So all the good guys out there want you to observe yourself to be good. But your system is not that like that. Your system is, I'm observing myself because that's what I am able to do. I'm not making judgment because God says, be non-judgmental. Yeah? How can you measure what you are as the immeasurable? You see, you're so vast. How can you judge? It's like the ocean judging the river, all subsidiary rivers. It's always looking to see what's coming next, what's going to make me big and fat. It's not interested in what it is, not interested in what, looking inside it and wondering, what the hell am I? What is this vastness that I am? Let's look at the little rivers, see what it can bring me. What kind of, world is out there, That's what we do. Always interested in what's out there for me. My desires, my wants, my needs. And the system says, no, you can't get everything you want. You can't get everything you need. You can't get everything you desire. Because that is totally impossible to measure, to evaluate, to judge, to analyze. Because you're looking at a world, what we have said is inconsistent. When we give things names, we give them opportunities to be measured in your way. I like the black car. I don't. I prefer white. You see? The observer is exempt from consistency and inconsistency. The observer, the ocean, is free to just be whatever it is, with no measurements, analysis, valuations, judgments on what it could possibly become other than what it is. That's why the whole joke from God is incredibly wise and smart. Out there is vast. Why would I look in here? There's nothing. It's just full of blood and organs and bones. All of out there is being provided for by that what is in here. This is the observing, the point of observing. The lighthouse says it's up here. I'm observing. No, that's the telescope. But the telescope has to have a looker within. And the looker within is the looking. The looking is not consistent or inconsistent. It simply is. And you don't measure out there as vast and in here as tiny. And you don't measure as everything vast in here and everything outside there is tiny. It is that it is. So the system that you are working from, not up here, is observing the mind, observing the nature, whatever names you want to give it, observing myself, observing life, observing existence, observing truth, observing consciousness. All the words that have no opposing values. You see, we imagine life has an opposing value of death. Not true. There is only life in different, what we call qualities. Different. Do you think when you step on the ant, we say, well, it's not going to be a funeral, is it? The undertaker's not going to come and put in a car and and charge the other ant people £10,000 for a burial in a plot and everything like that, because they're not important. They're only ants. Most likely, most of us have been an ant sometime. We've been everything. The object is to go through life and experience the whole of life. So while you're this human, experience this whole of life. Experience the vastness of what you are, not the minuscule of what you are, not that little inconsistent person or that consistent person. See? It's just a systematic game, but it's a very intelligent game from whatever creates it, the wizards and the witches and the saints and the gurus and the philosophers and the theorists and all these incredibly wise and able Egyptians and Greeks and Romans and Chinese and Zen masters and Buddhist masters and all. They've all created this system of, I. And it's important that we live out this system where we search maybe a portion of our life to see what's out there and forget about me. Forget about I. Forget about the vastness that is promoting this. I am promoting a screen. All is the screen. Up, down, inside, outside is the screen. But there's something that overlays the screen that is not in the screen. It is witnessing from a vast viewpoint of incredible freedom. You see, that freedom is not in being consistent or inconsistent. That freedom is what our nature is. We're already that. We've just developed this mind, this systematic mind that says we have to go down this path. And we can do that in our human world. We can always attempt to be good, attempt to be kind, attempt to be compassionate, attempt to put everyone else before me. But all you have to know is where our source is. And all of this is arising from the source that I is. You see? I is a different talk. You see, is. The maple, I, S, the moving ribbons. I, the penis, S, the enshrouding vagina. But they never touch. They're never connected. They just look at each other every moment of every day with love and affection. Like you look into your partner's eyes. Sometimes you don't have to have interactions or, we just look and we say, wow. It's like they're drawing me into this incredible love. But I don't know, you see. I don't want this talk to be consistent or inconsistent. There's nothing you can do to maintain, and that is surrendering, you see. Giving up the ego is to surrender and say, you know what? I try to be good, but it's no good. I try to be not bad, but actually it's not that bad. I'm not that bad. So the mind is playing games with itself all the time, always playing games with itself, always judging, always that game of life, Meanwhile, the observer is observing. And it's not making any decisions. It's not making any comments. It's just being the vastness of the ocean of consciousness that one is. I is. I don't know if you get it, but it's okay. Live out your life. Look for truth out there, and it's there. Look from truth in here, and it's there. It's here. Look, and ye shall find. But don't value, don't measure, don't judge, don't make any analysis on your findings. Because these are just little thoughts, little puffs of smoke. When you go into the bubble bath at night and you try and burst all the bubbles. There are billions of bubbles, and you start, and every now and then you move and another few bubbles appear. It takes a long time when you're out of the bath. Can you get out of the bath once all the bubbles have popped? You'll freeze to death. The bubbles are just thoughts. They're just milling around, playing games with your head, playing games with your existence, your relationships, your judgments, your analysis, your evaluations. They're sometimes they're consistently big, sometimes they're consistently small, sometimes they're inconsistently not here. Where's the bubbles today? They've not turned up. I need to look for more bubbles. As long as you're looking, don't call them bubbles. Can one observe without making any comments, any thoughts, any relationships, any associations, any attachments to the thoughts? Or can the observer just watch them pass? Like the clouds are passing, like the ripples on the lake are shining outwards and inwards, replicating the sun, which is moving. We can make poetry out of words, but can we make poetry out of our self? That's what Rumi says. Rumi's poetry is not about his perceptions, his evaluations, his judgment, his measurements, and what he experienced. Rumi's poetry is about his pure life, his pure beingness. The observing is much more profound and deep than what is observed and who is observing. The observing is life in its fullest glory, beyond I am, beyond one is, beyond consciousness. We can't go beyond these things, but our mind can shut down. It can shut down, and you can witness it shutting down. And when it shuts down, what is beyond it through this veil of mind? Now you have to see that for yourself.